and to memorize it. But if you ask your grandfathers, if you ask your parents, their brain and their mind, their memory was extremely sharp when they were kids. And the reason why is because Imam Shafi'i rahmatullahi alayhi said in a very famous poem that when he asked his teacher about why his memory was weak, he said that the reason why it is weak is because of ma'siyah, is because of disobedience. Imam Shafi'i rahmatullahi alayhi then goes on to say that that day when my memory seemed a little off, when I used to memorize 2 pages by just looking at them, and this time I had to kind of try a little harder to memorize them, because that day I was in the marketplace and a woman passed by in front of me and her foot was uncovered, and my gaze fell on that, and that's it. And that day became a little more difficult for him to memorize his sabab. Imagine today, subhanAllah, in our era of TikTok and Instagram and social media, what has truly happened to our minds. There are actual studies that talk about how YouTube shorts and TikToks and social media has warped our minds. I mean, subhanAllah, even teachers can attest to this, that how much more difficult is it to keep kids focused in class? How much more difficult is it to have the student look at their Quran, to look at their Muslim and try to memorize? SubhanAllah. I've seen it. I teach kids sometimes, and I sit in the Musalla hall, and I look at the kids that have just gone from the COVID era of 2 years being at home, and I tell them, I'm like, look at your book and just study. Look at their book. And 2 minutes later, not even 2 minutes, they're just looking around. Just like, why are you looking at me? Just look at your book. Please, look at your book. But the focus is gone. So how do we regain that focus? How do we regain that sharpness that we are meant to have as youth, that we are meant to have as kids? And because of that, the topic that I want to speak about today is the successful habits that a Muslim youth should have. And inshallah ta'ala, hopefully those that are even older, they can take these points and apply them to their lives, and even then you have the ability to change your life. Allah Azza wa Jalla says in the Quran that He is the one that created us from weakness. He is the one that has created us from weakness. And then after weakness, He brought about strength in us. So we were once babies. We had nobody to care for us. If you left us outside with no food, nothing to assist us, no external force to assist us, we would die. Because we are incapable of providing for ourselves when we are babies. And then Rasulullah sallallahu Allah Azza wa Jalla says that He then gives us strength. He gives us strength. He makes us an adolescent. We are able to nibble on food by ourselves. We are able to walk by ourselves. We are able to take food, grab it and put it into our mouth by ourselves. We are able to use the bathroom by ourselves. We are able to look at things and understand them. Then we grow older, and we are able to walk outside by ourselves. Our parents have a little more trust in us. And we become a youth, 14, 15. We think we literally own the world. We think that we have so much power that we can do anything. We think that we're the smartest. We think that what our parents say it doesn't have any sort of substance. We think that we know ourselves better than anybody else in the world. But when we turn 19 or 20, we realize how dumb we were when we were 14 and 15. And our parents actually had a reason for telling us not to do what we were doing. That our parents were actually correct. I wish I could have done what my parents told me at that point of time. I wouldn't be in this situation. That's what we think. And then we turn 24. We realize that when we were 20, 19, we were actually really dumb at that point as well. We turn 30, and we realize that at that point of time, we actually didn't understand things better than now. We grow older, and we turn 40. And this age is known as the pinnacle, the epitome of shabab, the epitome of youthfulness. It is considered as our prime. in regard to our strength, in regard to our intellect, in regard to our intelligence, in regard to our hikmah, our wisdom. Prophets ﷺ were sent when they were 40 years old, when they reached their prime. And we realize that all these decades that we've spent, that this thing that I did when I was 25, or this thing that I did when I was 30, was actually wrong. I wish I could have done it differently. I wish I could have done it differently. The reason, of course, to mitigate this, to stay away from making mistakes, what do we have to do? It's very easy. Allah Azza wa Jalla has surrounded us with people that are older than us, people that have made mistakes, and people that we can take heed from, people that we can take benefit from. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says that he who does not have mercy upon his youngsters, and he who does not respect his elders is not from us. Because if you do not have mercy upon the youngsters, then how truly will you have mercy on anybody else? These kids, they know nothing. They haven't gone through life. They don't have experience. And if you do not respect your elders, then how in the world do you expect to even